first industrial revolution that everybody is very comfortable with, because the phrase was coined, was really mechanization and water and steam power. The second industrial revolution, mass production, and then the third industrial revolution, computer and automation. And on the 30th of September, we will actually speak about, we will have an interesting session on the fourth industrial revolution.
The IT world is filled with a lot of acronyms. Acronyms are just abbreviations formed by concatenating the initial letters of other words, which you then pronounce as a new word. So an example of an acronym is TLA. What is TLA? What does that mean? What does it stand for? TLA is an acronym that was formed by taking the first three letters of those three words, three-letter acronym. So a TLA is actually a self-described three-letter acronym. Other examples are things such as CPU, NIC, RAM, USB. All of those are terms that you may or might not have heard throughout the years that you were exposed to technology.
So social media is a place to be social. The whole idea of social media was to create a space where people can have a voice, where they can share what they feel, and where they can share their passions, where they can find people with the same interests, where they can just be who they want to be, express themselves. But obviously, like it is in the real world, there's always crooks and criminals and things.
Charles also wrote a book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, which was hugely popular, surprise, surprise. There are some people that are questioning, is this really an industrial revolution? But mostly it is accepted that we are in the midst of a transformation that is fundamentally different to how the world has looked before, and it will probably look a little bit different afterwards.
Today, AI is one of the most talked about transformative technologies, and one that will certainly lead the way within the fourth industrial revolution. The simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, and especially computer systems, which include learning, reasoning, and applying self-correction.
Or maybe your device is locked without you locking it, and it's requesting for something. This is a ransomware attack. Or your battery life decreases abruptly. You see that your phone doesn't work the same way. You had 90% of battery charge, and all of a sudden the battery charge is going down to 20%, etc. Or if you are in a computer and using a browser, you can find that your browser changes without your input, or your antivirus becomes disabled all of a sudden, or you can get someone telling you that you sent them a spam. So then you know that you probably have a malware in your device.
Amazon, another big player in cloud services today. Definition that I got off their website: cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So I've taken all of those and I've just summarized it into something short that I think summarizes all of that in short, clear, easy language. And the important bits once again are highlighted there. So I've just said it's the delivery of flexible computing services over the internet on a pay-per-use basis.
So cookies started out in about 1995 when the Netscape browser community wanted to keep track of users. And they talked about magic cookies at that point in time. A magic cookie was a part of the folklore in tracking and having a special mythical powers. And that's where cookies came from, where you could track someone's behavior or their identity. And then when they log into your website again, you could then utilize that knowledge in order to personalize the website for that person that would then access the website again. I'm going to take you on a journey to talk about what we anticipate in the next couple of years. And I think this year literally amplified this message from Bill Gates a couple of years ago, saying that you'll see more change in the next 15 years than the previous 50. I think this year was a very good indication of some of the changes we'll see.
So that basically means that in the innovation world of artificial intelligence, the primary focus is to see the human purely as a programmatic organism. And that means that every bit of news that you give that person, every technology that you get them to immerse themselves in, anything that they get involved in over time, must be for the outcome of what you want, not what they want.
There's a device called a Hack5 pineapple, and it doesn't look like a normal pineapple. It's actually a small device that you could put on a drone. And what hackers are doing is to take this drone, put a 4G little modem on it, and then land this drone on a corporate head office. But what they do is they give the Wi-Fi hotspot name of the drone the exact same name as the company's corporate Wi-Fi. So you'll go to a corporate, let's say Discovery, and then you will, or Discovery Corporate, and then this drone will have the exact same Wi-Fi name as the corporate one.
At a data link level, how data gets stuck onto the physical medium is structured in a way that's defined by whatever data link technology you're using. And this might be Wi-Fi, it might be, Ethernet over fiber. So there's a variety of technologies there. It might be 5G and so forth. And then your physical layer obviously is the medium that it travels across. It might be air, it might be fiber, and it might be water. There's a variety of different technologies. One of the interesting new technologies that I'll talk about a little bit later on is something called Li-Fi, where light is used as visible light is used as a transmission medium.
So, of course, the advent of internet banking and online shopping made the use of passwords a priority as a security measure to avoid real financial loss. As we started transacting online using cards, credit cards, debit cards, and so on, then the chances of loss became much greater. And really, that's where hacking, certainly hacking of personal information, really got started, because for hackers, it became a viable opportunity to actually make some real money.
So firstly, Bitcoin is a global currency, and so many people will argue that it's not a currency. Other people will say that it's an asset. Some people will say it's a commodity because they use it maybe for investment purposes. But the fact is that if you look at the definition of a currency, and I'll come to that slide in a bit, Bitcoin meets the same criteria as the other global currencies to be classified as a currency. So it's global, and meaning that no one is in charge. No single government or no single central bank is in charge of Bitcoin or of the cryptocurrency environment. It's a global currency. No one is in charge of it. It is governed by a set of rules that was written into the Bitcoin protocol. So it all exists. It all exists in protocols, and it all exists basically in the internet.
Solid-state drives, or in short, an SSD. An SSD performs the same basic function as a hard drive, but the data is instead stored on interconnected flash memory chips that retain the data even when there's no power flowing through them. These flash chips are of a different type than the kind used in USB thumb drives and are typically faster and more reliable. The best thing about solid-state drives is that they are much faster and have higher read and write speeds than traditional hard disk drives, and this is especially true for random access patterns. They also have no moving parts, which means they don't make a noise and they don't break as easily. However, SSDs are typically more expensive than the equivalent hard drive for comparable capacity.